Wisdom, myself, divine cipher, masterpieces, divine understanding, born of law. Quick summary. From 1555 to 1865, you have 310 years of slavery for the original people in the wilderness of North America. Then you have 1876 through 1965 equals 89 years of Jim Crow for the original people in the wilderness of North America, or the 50 states. From 1865 through 1877, that's 12 years of the Reconstruction period, or the new Southern state legislature, which passed restrictive black codes to control the labor and behavior of the former slaves and or other Asiatic tribes, free Asiatics, Moors, whatever the case may be. Also, the killing of all black Asiatic organizations that are designed to bring our people together as one people, from Prince Hall all the way to Father Allah. That's all of the in-between. You know, Marcus Garvey and all of them. Noble Drew Ali, W.D., Elijah, Medgar Evers. We could go on and on and on. I just don't have the room at the time to give all these names. But you look at the history in between those times. From history would have the dates called out from 1775 through 1969. That would be 1969, June 13th. All right. Then we have, I think the March 6th, 1775 is the start of Prince Hall. And then you have 1969, June 13th, the assassination of Father Allah's physical composition. So those dates, from that to that, they have done everything they could do to exterminate any organizations that would galvanize the original people into coming together as one people. This is a short summary of why our people cannot get together as one people. Sounds like someone or something or some tribe or some people or some government or some organization is doing their damnedest to keep us from coming together as one people. So this is why a lot of the Asiatic tribes in the wilderness of North America have hell climbing up the ladder of knowledge of self, of economics, social gathering, and things of that nature. And with that, I'm going to say peace, the divine understanding, born of law, your brethren, the wilderness of North America. And I'm out. Peace. Because, you know, it's like the last of us that really were around the nine born, when, you know how they'll say the nine born was around the father. But when they're talking about those that were around the nine born of Mecca and the 14 firstborn of Medina, if you didn't get knowledge of self pretty much before 89, you didn't see all the 14 born nor the 9 born, because by then they had started to pass away in physical form. If you got knowledge of self in the 80s, you had the influence of the 9 born and the 14 born of Medina, the first 9 born of Mecca. You always have to emphasize that, because they don't be, a lot of people don't know it was 9 born in Mecca, but it was 14 firstborn in Medina. And that made a difference that it was 14 and 9, because 9 and 14 is not like a number that you just throw away. 14 comes from 2 sevens. See, and then they don't talk about those first 7 that was born that made it 21. Because the first 7 fruit from the 14, the father talked to them too. Because the father was around. And if you think that the father didn't understand sovereignty and the legal matters, he wouldn't have been able to get out of Mattawan and handle those Europeans the way he did in the courtroom if he didn't know sovereignty and law. He wouldn't have been able to get the Urban League and all them to work with him the way he did, and Mayor Lindsay and all them. That is legal ramifications he was dealing with. When you a grown-ass man and you talking to children and you influencing their mind, you better know the law. Because the United States government will put you in jail. Because you influencing the minds of the youth. And you can't do that unless you're a school teacher sanctioned by the system. Yeah, we all know about Esau. Why? Because when he was on Flatbush, we were still children. Yeah, Esau knew that. Yes, we call him Imam Isa. That means we old school. We was in the 80s with him. Because in the new school, they call him Dr. York. As soon as you say Imam Isa, I know you old school. You know too. You remember Flatbush, son. I know you know, because I don't tell motherfuckers, but back in the days, He was doing real good, Lord, until he fucked up.
Yeah, what can I say? Everybody got big problems, you know.
He was doing real good, but where he fucked up at was, it wasn't so much, I don't even know if he really did that shit that they say he did, because I don't believe nothing the devil says.
That's what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? He asked up or something so he couldn't get out. That's what I'm saying. He was so hard to father. But was able to deal with the people on their level of law. And he came all this stuff, and he went and took normal July to the next level. I got him now. He took it to the next level, the wavy and a half summer, and then he played wrestling. And he was his own goddamn Circle 7 book and put his own shit in it. He just a copycat motherfucker, but he was doing his thing. He couldn't do it as an original.
Well, you know what they really call that? They called it, it's called plagiarism is what it's called.
Exactly what he's at. About it. That's right. That's what that is. You're right.
Yeah, he was a plagiarizer. I'm not gonna say he wasn't, but see, this is the deep shit behind his shit. A lot of people don't know because they weren't old enough. The younger guards that came behind us, they were really young, so they really didn't know. But the guards in my age group and your age group, when Imam Isa was doing what he was doing in Bushwick, Imam Ubaba, which is Imam Isa's older brother, it was called the African Islamic Mission, right off Bedford, and it was right off Bedford, not far from the Armory with Bedford and Atlantic. It was like over there by that statue that's on that man is on the horse. Before you hit Eastern Parkway, that's where his African Islamic Mission used to be located. I don't know if it's even still located there, but it was located there then. They either owned that building or was renting it from some Jewish people. And I remember we took Shahada with Imam Isa because he said that Imam Isa knew how to do Shahada real well, and if you was guards and y'all wanted to learn it, you could learn it there with him, but you could learn how to make Salat, Wudu. He would show you all of that for free. So I remember going over there and learning how to make wudu and how to do salat. And the only reason why I did it is because Firstborn Prince used to talk about it. Remember, Firstborn Prince and my enlightener Igor was good, close friends. I mean, even though Igor was in our age group, he loved Igor. He used to call Igor Lamb Chop.
The one down?
No, Igor from East Medina, far East Medina. He be at the rally sometime. You know who I'm talking about. Well, him and Prince used to always come and gather us up. Well, since I was Igor's student, he automatically brought me in the fold with him. I got lessons from Firstborn Prince a lot of motherfuckers don't even know about. But he did study Orthodox Islam.
Hell yeah. We advocated that shit too.
He advocated it too. Yes, he did. Like I said, he influenced me enough to make me want to learn Salat and how to make wudu. Man, there's a lot of Chinese Muslims. They were talking about hadith. Okay, and when they were talking about it, they were talking about it in Chinese. I didn't understand the Chinese, but I knew the word hadith. And when he said hadith, I yelled out, hadith, 40 hadith. I know about 40 hadith. I don't know much, but I knew. He said, what do you know about hadith? I said, hadith, that's words of the prophet that's not in the Quran. He said, yeah, you're right. He said, what else do you know? I said, I know how to make wudu and salat, and I took shahada. The nine born was saying and doing, we really don't know why they were doing it, because we weren't old enough to know.
That's true.
You know, they might, like, I hear some people speak against, I heard some of the other guards speak against the things that Firstborn Prince taught, but when I was around and he was around, I never heard them say shit when he was there. Excuse my language, but they were afraid of him too. They didn't say crazy things as they say now about him. They didn't say that when he was in his physical form and present before them.
He was in a wheelchair. They ain't say shit to that nigga.
Not even when he was in the wheelchair. I remember when he wasn't in the wheelchair before he got shot, and they didn't say anything. But even when he was in a wheelchair, Lord, you're right. They didn't say anything.
Nothing. He said, my head. I said, God damn. Because the father said that he didn't want people to be in that situation around the children. He called them bombs. He said he was direct with the police. And they did not have people ever want bombs. So the children had to grow up and see them with the light.
Was talking about advocating Salat and all that. He never told the guards that they should do it. He just said individual study. You should know that. You should know what wudu is. You should know what hadith are. You should know how to make salat. You should know these things, because if you only limiting yourself to America, then you may not need these things. But if you go overseas, a lot of those Muslim brothers over there, there's way more Muslims that ain't Arab than there are that are Arab.
With this, you better know. The father said he knew he had the whole Muslim world against him when he said he was Allah.
Yes. Look at what Elijah said. Elijah said when he went overseas with the Muslims, he said he feared for his life.
Yeah, it's petrol.
You remember in that theology of time he said that, right?
Yeah.
He said he feared for his life because their religious and religion, the way they teach Islam in the form of a religion, is close to the way the Europeans used to teach Christianity in the Spanish Inquisition. You ever read the Green Book?
You know what, man? I had a copy so long, so man. I don't even know nothing about it. I gotta say I don't remember.
Well, in the Green Book, it explains about Luamung, Gabriel, and Thoth, and how Gabriel and Thoth, what they told Muhammad, what he had to do to combat the fictitious stories of the Roman Empire. You gotta read the Green Book, son. Once you read the Green Book and that little history that you got on the Romans, that shit'll change it. Because remember, the Romans had a story about Romulus and Remus.
That's I took you for more science, because I know you know that much.
Oh, I know that shit like the back of my hand.
And goddamn, Malcolm X took a double ear.
He took what now? Malcolm X did what?
The double ear. It's an eel ugly, eel so bad.
Yo, he took the eel because he said that's Elohim.
Yeah.
That's what the Moors, when they got eel on their name, if you listen to Noble Drew Ali's teachings, he say eel is symbolic to Elohim.
Yeah, about Elohim. I know, but listen.
Because once you read Elohim, once you read the Green Book, you understand the Quabalistic Tree of Life. Then you understand why I said Malkuth is the ancient word for Asiatic. Elijah did not just pick that word out the fucking sky and say we are Asiatic black man.
Okay.
That word Asiatic is an ancient Hebrew word. Before the teachings of, you ever read the book by Zachariah Sitchin?
What are you talking about?
The book, The Stairway to Heaven, The Gods and Men, The Cosmic Code, The Lost Realms, The 12th Planet, When Time Began, all those books. When you go into those books, they start going into before Babylon, before Hammurabi. That word, Elohim, that word Asiatic, Malkuth, Kisa, all those words was around then.
Yeah.
And when you start studying the ancient texts that Muhammad had told those other Muslims to quote, not the ones that by the time Abu Bakr put them on paper, he said, when you read the words, you'll say, oh, that's Asara Set and Heru. So that shit ain't a fictition. Asara Set and Heru is dealing, huh? Well, what I'm saying is, those ain't fictitious stories. What the Europeans didn't want us to catch, why they came up with that Roman fable story is because they wanted to throw us off from looking at what the Bible was really teaching, was telling you the constellations and where your family is at in the constellation. Okay, so those stories aren't fictitious stories that Rome made up. That shit is telling you about the zodiac.
I was saying though, that used it for political reasons.
Oh, I'm sure they do all kind of other shit too. Yes, hell yeah, they use it for political reasons.
For them, it's not a spiritual thing. It's a political thing. And the Khazars did the same thing with the Hebrew. The Jews are fucking so-called Jews now. It's about three political movements trying to be religious, you know what I'm saying? And they ain't got no spirituality. And really hard on. Because they come from the same root of Abraham bullshit. That's the game.
When you read the Green Book, you start saying to yourself, not just the Green Book, there's a few books out there, the White Book, that other history where it's saying that Francis Cress Wrestling and all them, when they be talking about the melanin in our skin and the pituitary gland and the concentration couldn't have came from a yellow sun, that our real founding fathers came from a red sun.
I said that too.
Right, because if you look at the background to Elijah Muhammad's flag, it was red, and he said it was symbolic to the sun. Well, this sun here in this solar system is a yellow sun.
It wasn't the original sun.
No, it's the original sun. It wasn't our sun that we came from. Remember the story on Superman? Superman came from a red sun.
Because when the configuration of the universe was not always in the order of the planets that are in now.
I know. Remember when our lessons say, remember it was 35,000 years ago, the cycle was 35,000 years, and then we went to a 25,000 year cycle because of the shift of the solar system inside of the galaxy.
The moon wasn't even there.
Well, at one time the moon wasn't there because 66 trillion years ago. We know this to be true. We went through those lessons. But a lot of people don't know that our ancestors came from a red sun, not a yellow sun. It says in the lessons when we first founded this planet. So how did you think we...
Oh, that's right.
It says when we first founded this planet. That's the word founded alone tells you you weren't on this planet.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
Now, they might be trying to say it's spookism, but that's only because they don't understand the mothership. When they look at the mothership, they look at it as a Muslim teaching. The mothership is to expose you to the fact that your ancestors did not really come from this planet Earth.
Yeah.
Well, in all actuality, they did come from Earth, but not this Earth. Because Earth just means planet that has life. And that's why when the God was talking about, oh, it ain't but one Earth. No, it's only one Earth to the European. It is every planet that has life is an Earth. That's why there's more. It says the gods and Earth. It don't say the gods and Earth. Earth in plural. S, motherfucker. What is wrong with you people? Why don't you listen to what the Father said? Peace, God.
Divine Sense is trying to get me. I try to catch him back, man. I'm online. I got my phone. And I'm good.
Right.
You know?
Have you switched over to a plant-based diet?
That's what I have to do. That's what I have to go alkaline plant-based. You know, and I know, talking what you see here, I see it in Allah, ABCD, food, and actually, it's been a long time. Yeah, we should have hooked up. One of my students told me a long time ago. I said, yeah, but he moved out here with me. I'm like, oh, wow. I remember when you first moved to New Jersey. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Well, it's Lost Sincere. Zaki, yeah, my man.
Yeah, Lost Sincere, right? That's my man, son.
I know. I know that. Go back.
Yeah, we go way back.
Yes, we're independent thinker, you know? And you gotta be that way, man. That's what Paul wants to be. We don't fucking follow it. You got uniqueness, you know? So I talk about me, I don't care. I talk about the last parliament. Out of this, you know? Yeah, you love me with somebody say, something. I'm a man, I take the street. If I'm wrong, I'll probably admit it. But don't be talking about me. I'm your brother. This is not a vision. This is the uniting of Asia. only one unit, no unity. This bullshit you're talking. Because I like to say, like when I said, the black woman was gone. I said, look here, you take us, the white man is gone. Now I can say she's God because I have no God, it's not alphabet and that. I said she's divine. You know what I'm saying? All God. She just fought Jesus, God fought God. That's a simple thing can fucking make it to y'all. I don't know if you can tell me she ain't got no mind. She ain't got no mind either. You got 5 bucks in your brain, where the fuck your mind at? You don't get the same mind as Almighty God. You better act like you don't know. God. The father gave that sister, we call Allah one touch and shoe, Allah infants. The only gift the father, no, he gives all women, he gives one woman. What the fuck you think this is? There's no big eyes, no use right here. You know that? You're good with me. Ain't no mystery God.
Nope. Ain't no mystery God. And they be teaching some spookism to me.
I got a lot of brothers and sisters and the nation of God and out who want to do their own thing. See, that's when you come in there and you can't. We need some people who live like the dietary laws. Because we need a program. That's how they're going to recover. So completely, just our first chapter is on food. Even though I'm not living that to the fullest, but I ain't no fool, I know better. You can't have a straight diet talking about being free.
You can't. Yeah, well, that's where when I'm using the white and the green book, that's really the cradle of civilization is. Okay, this is what you gotta remember too. Before the separation of the earth and the moon, the continents was all one. And the cycle was 35,000 years. So that's what was happening. Then when the separation of earth and moon took place, also other things was happening in the heavens, and the solar system is not in the same position that it was in back then. The solar system moved. So our solar system moved, and it moved in closer to the galaxy because of the black hole in the middle. It had to adjust itself. Firstborn Prince, we would go talk to... Firstborn Prince was a mad, deep-ass brother, man. He knew so many things. Like, he was just so deep, and he was, like, out of his time. Like, a lot of people wasn't ready for this shit he was saying, the things he was talking about. They wasn't ready for that, man. He was so advanced in his thinking that people thought that he was religious, but he wasn't. Haters automatically come when you're successful. If you don't have any haters, then that means you're not all that successful. Yes. I'm gonna tell you who I know, like Dumont. His science and what he speak, he the truth. Father Divine, he the truth, son. And back in the days when I used to listen to Allah Foundation, he was the truth, son. Messiah, that God is the truth. Yo, his science is so... Yo, he would be spitting it so hard. You know another one? Black Prince. He was drop it, man. He was definitely the truth, man. I-God is the truth, son. Master I-God was the truth. Yo, that God, man, when he used to come through Pennsylvania Avenue, guards would see him before he saw them. They would be running, getting out. I'm gonna tell you who else. When I was out in Edgemere, the twins, Bashar and Jamel Scientific, them boys is the truth, son. Utora, the truth. Kim, dropping it. Man, I could call out a million names, man. People was, Ken Do. Ken Do personal life wasn't right and exact, but that boy was the truth, son. You hear what I'm saying? He used to be like, yeah, my name is Ken Do El Rahim, mathematical Allah. And yo, that son was mathematically inclined, boy. His mathematics was off the... He was one of the same ones that spoke the math like I do. Like when I say King Now Cipher Wisdom, Lord Equality, Divine God Equality, Born Equality, Born Knowledge, Power, Born Equality. He spoke his math the same way. He was from Medina too. He used to be like, yo, son, let me tell you, they don't want to take you through the law of math because they can't what? Think. He said, arm, leg, arm, head, born what? Understanding the culture, born what? Go. So we was going through lessons, and when somebody was talking, while he was talking, and the guard stood up and said, Black Prince? Yeah, I think it was Black Prince, if I ain't mistaken, because his science was hard. He said, due to knowledge to this wisdom myself, divine cipher math, you can hear a pin drop. I remember when I first got knowledge of stuff, I had the name. My name was Aswad. My name was Aswad for like 30 days, right? That's like Arabic for saying black, right? So he said, what's your name? I said, Aswad. He said, Aswad? What the hell is that? I was trying to show and prove it that it came out the Quran and everything. He was like, let me say you something, little brother. The Father said for us not to pick no Muslim names, because we not Muslim. Our surname is Allah. Nation of gods and earth, our surname is Allah. If you was a Moor, your surname could be Bey or Day or L or Bey is Noble Drew Ali's Moor's surname. But if you see in Bey's Moors, he actually told them they was Eels or Beys too. But then you got El East Moors. The El East Moors. See, people don't know where those other names came from. Them other names, Noble Drew Ali and C.M. Bey both use Eel and Bey. They didn't use El. El is more like Muslim or from Elijah Muhammad, or Muslim from the Middle East, or Muslims like them, or even the gods, because like El Rahim, his name was El Rahim, mathematical Allah. You know, Kendu El Rahim, mathematical Allah. That's when you can see the difference. But when they Moors, they don't say El, they say Eel, because it's symbolic to saying Elohim. But the El East Moors was the ones that had Al, Day, Ali, and they had that plus Eel and Bey. They had Eel, Bey, Al, Day, and they had one more. Okay, it was, let me see, it was 5 of them. It was 5 because they had Eel, Bey, Day, Al, and Ali. That's what they used. They used all 5, but you won't find Noble Drew Ali Moors using Ali and Day. That comes from the El East Moors. So back in the days, you had the El East Moors, you had the Washita Moors, you got the C.M. Bey Moors, and you got Noble Drew Ali Moors. Now, inside of the Noble Drew Ali Moors, you got a lot of different groups, like the 1928 and all those other different Moors, but they all still under Noble Drew Ali. In the C.M. Bey, you got the Great Seal and all those other kind of Moors with Nakim and all of them. You got them. Circle of Mothers and Sons and all that. That's still C.M. Bey in them. Then you got Washita Moors. They not the same as those other Moors. They got the Queen. They Queen runs the show. Then you got the El East Moors. They based out of Florida, and they got a bunch of little different splinter groups that come out of them. Then you got like the NOI. The NOI, they got like 5 or 6 different NOIs. Then you got, who else? You got the Hebrew Israelites. Shit, it must be like 16 different kind of Hebrew Israelites. The main ones is Yahweh Ben Yahweh and them. Cherry and his splinters. Cherry's groups and the splinter groups from Cherry. And you got Imam Isa and all of his different groups that came off of him, because he goes all the way from Imam Isa all the way to Dr. York. You know, depending on where you at, the Sons of the Green Light, and the Ansu Al Rule and all them different splinter groups he got. And then and then you got, there's a lot of different Asiatic, the Asara Set community, which is part of all the different Kemet groups you got. I mean, there's a bunch of them too, like a bunch of different groups of Kemet. And then you got like the RBG groups, the Black Panther groups. The RBG groups is more like the Pan-African groups. They always want to go back to Africa, and everything is with them, like those different doctors and stuff. They be Pan-African, and Dr. Jeffries, Dr. Ben, all of them different guys, they mostly Pan-African. Yeah, all of them are Pan-African. SETI and all of them follow them. And then you got like the Black Panthers, like in between both of them. Like they kind of Pan-African, but they also nationalistic groups, like the African Liberation Army and the MOVE group and the New Black Panther Party and all of them. But you look at the background of Khalid. Khalid really comes out of the NOI. You know, that's really his background. And then, you know, like you got us, the guards, we really don't have no splinter groups. We just got us, the guards. We really didn't splinter off. Nobody really made no splinter groups out of us, because we didn't never break up. Like a lot of those groups, their founder, when he passed away, then other people wanted to be the leader and they split up. But when our founder passed away through the assassination of his physical composition, we didn't really split up because first of all, we was all young. Everybody that was even in the nation in those particular times was either in their early 20s, and I'm talking like 21, like 21, 20. They was like that. Maybe I think the oldest person was like maybe 23. At best 25, and I would be pushing it. And then mostly everybody else was teenagers. So what, you ain't splitting, ain't no splitting. You a teenager. Well, you sticking with what you got. Plus, we were in shock when the father passed away. Not me personally, because I wasn't even there. You feel me? But I'm just saying, as a nation, we didn't do any splintering. We didn't do any breaking off. We didn't do that because we just didn't. I'm not exactly sure, as far as historical why, but I know that we didn't. We stayed as the gods in the earth. We might have elevated from just being called a 5% nation to the gods in the earth and, stuff like that. We through growth and development, we changed our outlook on things, but we pretty much stayed the same. But mostly like the next group closest to us would be the NOI, and when Elijah passed away, they probably would have stayed as one organization and one group and one nation. But his son, Warith bin Muhammad, I think he was working for the devil, son, because he fucking tore their shit to shreds. It was a few of them that did that went that way. They went with Farrakhan and stuff. I know some other guards back in the days when we was studying other stuff. Some guards, they went and they became Masons. Some guards, they went and they became Moors. It is what it is. Some guards became Muslims. I remember that shit going down like that. I remember guards was going and becoming all kind of other things. At one time, some of them guards was talking about, this is like grade school and junior high and high school, and now I'm in college. So now you in college, they consider themselves being in college and graduating from college when they went into these other organizations like the Moors, the Masons, the Muslims, and the NOI and all of that. They thought that was like more high power than what we was doing. So they went and did their thing. I'm gonna learn Shahada. I learned how to do that. I came back home. Then I went to the Moors. I got their shit. I came back home. Went into the Masonic laws. Got their shit. Came back home. Went to the universities, got college, got my degrees and shit, came back. You look at your 12 Jews, and then you go and you cross-reference your 12 Jews with the solar facts. You can see how the Father was guiding us to look at the universe. That's all you do. Bounce it off of that. Bounce it off the Old Testament. Bounce it off the Quran. Bounce it off 120. Bounce it off the Circle 7. Bounce it off of whatever you got to do, because you God and your foundation is mathematics, alphabets, and 12 Jews and 120. You use that as your anchor, and everything else you can do the knowledge too, because you got a foundation. You can't get lost now. You can't get sucked now. To really be a nation, to claim yourself as being a nation in these modern days, and I'm talking about black conscious people. One, you're going to have lessons. Lessons that all y'all adhere to these same degrees, lessons, and shit. You're going to have that. More than likely, they're going to have surnames. Like if you say you a Hebrew Israelite, they have surnames. Their surnames are things like Judah, Ben, Joseph. They the 12 tribes of Israel. The 12 tribes, those are their surnames. You are the tribe of Judah, and your crest for the tribe of Judah is the lion. You see what I'm saying? So when you're a tribe or in a family and a clan, and you have a crest and you have lessons and you are a nation, and there's a group of y'all as a nation, and all y'all adhere to the same principles, rules, and regulations, there's a council. You have certain guidelines that you go by, and people don't follow those guidelines. They say you violating. If you in the, right, there's rules and regulations. If you in the nation of gods and earths, you have a set of 120. You got mathematics, alphabet, 12 Jews. Your crest is our universal flag. That is our symbol. That's our crest. We have signs and symbols that we use to govern each other. If I throw up a peace sign and you see those two fingers together, you pretty much know I'm not just throwing up that victory sign piece. You'll know. You'll say, oh, he ain't in the nation. He didn't keep the two fingers together, so it's knowledge. I know you don't know what this is, son. What's your surname? Our surname is Allah. It's Garvey, and you're a Garveyite. And your flag is the red, black, and green flag. See? Those are nations. That's how you know. But if you're just consciously aware, you might say, well, I'm Pan-African. But even if you're Pan-African, that's not really a nation. That's an ideology, a mindset more to the degree. Like you might say, like Dr. Umar. His name is Umar Johnson. He sounds like he got a Muslim name, but he's Pan-African, and that's really a mindset. Dr. Umar. And what's his name? Alton Maddox. He's more Pan-African. They want to go back. They dealing with Africa. But if they get deep into their nation, if they're into, they might say I'm Pan-African and this, that, and the third. But if you talk to them, they might adhere to the Yoruba nation. That's who they might attach themselves to. They might say, well, I deal with Yoruba. I am under the Yoruba nation. Alegba, Oshun, you know, like that. If you see Santeria, they are the nation. They deal with Yoruba. Is the tribe that they adhere to. Salam alaikum. Sometimes they might be Muslim, but Muslim ain't a nation. If you a Muslim, you might be Chinese. Muslim ain't a nationality. You could be from Yemen and be a Muslim. You could be from New York and be a Muslim. You could be from Philippines and be a Muslim. Just like you could be a Christian and be from Italy. Somebody else might be a Christian and they might be from Louisiana. That ain't a nation, that's a religion. But Hebrews, they are a nation of Hebrews. They are Hebrew, the Ches nation, or Hebrews under Melchizedek. They follow the teachings of the angel that had no father nor mother. Dr. Yahweh ben Yahweh are Hebrews. Their leader is Yahweh ben Yahweh. They're Hebrew. They're a different Hebrew group. The Hebrews under Cherry. That's the ones you see a lot in New York. The Israelite, the Hebrew Israelites. Their organization, they're followers of Cherry. They use the Bible a lot. You know, depends on who it is. With Yahweh ben Yahweh, and then they got the 1 to 10 and the 1 to 36. And they got a black Hebrew Bible. Their Bible is not the same Bible as King James Version. Their Bible is more broke. Yeah, I got one of their Bibles. Their Bible is no joke. It goes all into the history behind each chapter in the Bible. It goes into the history of the making of it and how it came together in the whole 9 yards. Yes. That's Yahweh ben Yahweh's Hebrew Israelites. They wear all white. And then you got Dr. York and his people. Dr. York, which was really Imam Isa. At one time, he was Imam Isa. He had the Ansar Arul community. When he became Dr. York, they became like Indian, Native American Moors, but they not Noble Drew Ali. Okay, look at the Washita Moors. They're a Washita nation. They based out of Louisiana. The other Moors, they're a Moorish nation, but they might be under CM Bay and the Circle of Mothers and Sons. You got the other Moors in the Noble Drew Ali, they might be the 1928 Moors under. You got the El East Moors. You got like 5 different kind of NOIs because their leaders is Silas Muhammad and Farrakhan and those other ministers. I can't remember all their names, but you know, they have each one of those. It's about 5 different ministers that have a Nation of Islam. That's what they do. Their name is the Nation of Islam. Yeah, I wrote a degree on that. It's on the website, Ancient on the Free Asiatics. You'll see it says NOI history. You go and you read through that, you'll see all the different ministers that adhere to bearing witness to Elijah Muhammad, the messenger of Allah. But the Nation of Islam that was under Elijah Muhammad, 1934-1975, was destroyed by his son Warith Deen Muhammad, who went and made a nation called the African. No, his nation wasn't African. I was thinking African Islamic Nation or something. Dr. York's brother, he got the I forget the name of his group, but that's still Dr. York, but his brother Imam Ubaba has the African Islamic Nation or something. I cannot remember the name of it. It's going to come to me later. But they got their own nation too. They wear green and gold of their colors. Like I said, Kemet, Asara Set community. There's an Asara Set community, and they under the Kemet Nation. They fit under the Kemet Nation, but they not the same Kemet Nation as, say, Dr. Ben and Dr. Jeffries and all them, Sarah Sutanseti and Tahuti and Sarnetta and all them. They doing their own. I think Sarnetta and them is more saying they RBG, but RBG is really the color of the flag, and I'm not sure if they're Marcus Garvey or not. Right, they may be influenced by his teachers. You are absolutely right, but they are not under Marcus Garvey because they don't roll with the Marcus Garvey. The Marcus Garvey group, their nation, their group, actually Marcus Garvey was more like an organization to a certain degree, but then again they look at him as Moses. Marcus Moses Garvey. Because Rastafari is Rastafari Jah. They the tribe of Judah. They Israel too. They down with Israel and Hebrew and Haile Selassie and King Solomon. IHVH is Jah. So, and they have lessons and degrees, and they vegetarian. They got rules and regulations they follow. They grow their locks. Yeah, they got their own movement. You know, they based out of Jamaica, but they're everywhere now. That's right. They a lot of places. They in Britain.
Some believe that before the universe there was nothing. They're wrong. There was darkness.